We move on to this, an extremely feel-good story. Abbie Rieder joins us right now. She's a women's soccer player at Sdsu. She's been helping out in the community during this pandemic. And Abbie, I'll sort of leave it up to you to explain what you've been doing and what inspired you to do what you've done.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having me on. So Leave It to Us is a nonprofit that originally started in Chicago by a University of Alabama student, and it got really big up there, and so he started expanding nationwide, and I found out about the organization through a friend in LA, and with the extra time that I had from not being able to play soccer at this time, I decided to take this project on and serve our community in a way that is really impactful. And so kind of how it works is I have about 50 volunteers, and I receive orders from seniors and other high-risk individuals who need their groceries, and I send the order out to my volunteers, and the first person available shops for them and delivers their groceries outside of their home, contact-free without having to make any physical contact with the person.
So this is almost like a full-time job. Like, what is a typical day like for you right now as a result of this?
It fluctuates. Right now, it's been pretty steady. When we just have a couple orders a day, it's definitely pretty manageable. I just give the info out to my volunteers. They make it way easier for me. They do a lot of the dirty work. I couldn't do any of this without them. But when we get busy, I get, upwards of 20 calls a day of people inquiring about the services and placing orders. But, it's exciting. I love doing it.
This is incredible. What an idea. And again, with all this extra time on our hands, people have been binge watching, Tiger King and, playing a tremendous amount of video games. I mean, all of us are suffering slower Wi-Fi because I just picture everybody doing the same thing I am. But instead, you have boots on the ground doing great things in the community. So this conversation you have with this friend, it takes a lot for an idea to take off, right? I always say this, like what we need to invent? We need to invent this. And then you never do it because it seems really hard. So you hear about this. What made you call? What made you get involved? How did that spark turn into this fire you kind of started in a positive way?
I mean, I was shopping for my sister who's a nurse. I was doing her grocery shopping for her to save her time, and I had extra time on my hands, and then just kind of made sense to apply this to a community that's in such a need for this service. And then the opportunity, when it came along, it just felt right. And so I decided that this is something worth pursuing. And it honestly just took a couple of Zoom calls. I mean, yes, granted, I found out about all this during spring break, so that was perfect timing for me to be able to set this all into motion. So I'm really lucky that that worked out in that way. But yeah, I think it was something that I definitely wanted to go move forward with because there is such a need for it, and it's such an opportunity to make an impact that actually really does help people's lives.
San Diego State women's soccer player Abbie Rieder joining us right now on Xtra 1360. Abbie, if someone wants to volunteer or make a donation or assist, how would they be able to do that, and how would they be able to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone can email sdleaveittous@gmail.com. San Diego, sdleaveittous@gmail.com for any volunteer inquiries or to make donations. And also, if you are in need of our service and know anyone who is, we would love to expand our services to more high-risk individuals. So I'd love to get that out there.
Abbie Rieder joining us, soccer player at SDSU turned philanthropist during this pandemic. What's the weirdest thing that's been on a grocery list? Like, did somebody order 144 eggs and you're like, yeah, how many omelets can you make? Like, what's the strangest ask you've gotten so far?
Oh, I gotta think.
Like I picture Abbie, you chasing around like a live chicken somewhere. Like who needs a live chicken? But look, they can't do it themselves.
Yeah, we get I don't know. So I think that some seniors don't realize that we can perform this service for them as often as it's needed. So they'll just send these huge lists over, 6 packs of applesauce, 10 packs of applesauce and, 4 gallons of milk. And I mean, it's good to stock up. I guess that saves us time to just make one trip, but we're more than happy to make multiple trips. But Yeah, it's got to just be the large quantities that we see sometimes. That's the strangest thing.
What type of reaction have you gotten, like, from the community, and how thankful have those that you've been able to impact been for what you've been doing?
It's been incredible to see the response from the people that we serve. I'll get emails from seniors saying just how genuinely grateful they are for the service and how it's really helped them. And a lot of them are just genuinely afraid to leave their homes. And they say, I don't have any family in the area. I don't have anyone who can shop for me. And so your services are greatly appreciated. And there's also just people who are so sick. They tell me, I'm immunocompromised. I have pneumonia and I have all these other comorbidities. So it provides a lot of intrinsic reward to be able to serve people who are in such a deep need of this service, especially when they have no one else who can do it for them. It's really rewarding to be able to do that.
Incredible. Again, her name is Abbie Rieder. It's Leave It to Us. It's the name of the campaign here in San Diego. If you are looking to volunteer and be a part of this service for the seniors and those who can't get out and get their own groceries, you can contact Abbie at sdleaveittous@gmail.com. Or, of course, if you need groceries and you're listening to the sound of our voices and you're a little worried going and hitting the market, you can email her at sdleaveittous@gmail.com. Abbie, tremendous work. Awesome story. Thank you for your time. Keep up the great work in the community.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, it's interesting, Rich, because we think about the pandemic and how, like, it impacts us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm like, oh, man, my daycare's closed. Oh, I can't go to this dry cleaner. I've got to get the food. But, I mean, it impacts everyone in such a striking way. And, like, we are privileged to be in the position we're in, obviously. We're still working. We can obviously, we're able to shop for ourselves. We're in relatively good health. Our families are as well. Not everyone is as fortunate as we are. I can only imagine living alone or being older or having underlying diseases and having to deal with the last 3 months. I mean, that is completely life-changing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, I have a neighbor who, our family is unbelievably close with. Her name's Jane. I call her my angel because she's always there for us. And she has some things going on. So we go and we do some shopping from her husband, obviously does shopping for the household as well. But, we'll pick things up from the market. And, that was like an instant thought because we're so close to her. But we have other neighbors around us, who are either senior citizens or they're up there in age, or one of our neighbors across the street had a knee replacement surgery and he's up there in age. So we started asking around after, I believe it was the governor, it might have been the mayor, said, hey, get in touch with your neighbors who are older, right? Ask them. And actually, I was so embarrassed because I didn't even think of it. Like I needed, some elected official to say, hey, go ask your neighbor. So I'm talking over the fence to my neighbor, and I'm just like, hey, we're heading to the store. Do you need anything? He's like, no, we're okay. He's like, ask me the next time, Governor Newsom. And I was like, oh, no, yes, clearly you watch the news. This is totally your demographic. Like, I felt so embarrassed.
That's all good, man.
It was so transparent. Since then, though, we've asked them, and like they go out to the market, they do their thing. But I never had an idea like this.
No,
and
nor have I.
Like, what a tremendous job Abbie's doing. It's awesome.